Welcome back to Most Trusted Channel. Imagine plucking a humble coin from your pocket, only to discover it could change your life. It sounds like a fairy tale, but for one particular euro coin, it's the astonishing truth. The 1999 French 10-cent euro coin may look like any other piece of loose change, yet it has the power to turn a collector into a millionaire. This is no ordinary coin. It's not a trinket to toss aside, but a potential jackpot hiding in plain sight. In the world of coin collecting, this little gold-colored disc has earned a reputation as a life-changing treasure, a tiny talisman that could be worth a fortune. It might say, 10 cents, on its face, but don't let that fool you. This 1999 10-cent piece from France could be worth thousands, even millions, under the right circumstances. It's the ultimate example of small coin, big dream, proving that sometimes the most unassuming objects hold the greatest secrets. Why is the 1999 French 10-cent coin so special? To understand its allure, we must first recognize its place in history. This coin was part of the first generation of euro currency. Although euro coins and banknotes officially entered circulation in 2002, countries like France began minting euro coins as early as 1999. France's mint, La Monnaie de Paris, struck hundreds of millions of these 10-cent coins in preparation for the euro's launch. In fact, over 447 million were minted with the date 1999. At first glance, then, it seems this coin shouldn't be rare at all. With nearly 500 million produced, a regular 1999 French 10-cent coin is generally worth only a few cents or maybe a euro in uncirculated condition. So on the surface, it's just common pocket change. Design and identification. Like all euro coins, the 10 cent has a standard common reverse side, a map of Europe alongside the numeral 10 and the words, euro cent. The French national obverse, front, is what truly sets it apart. France chose an iconic symbol for its euro coins, la semuse, or the sower. This design, originally by Oscar Rodi and adapted by artist Laurent Joriot, features a graceful figure of Marianne sowing seeds against the rising sun. She wears a Phrygian cap, a symbol of liberty, and strides forward, casting grain to the wind, with rays of sunlight streaking behind her. To her left is the year 1999, and to her right the letters, RF, standing for République Française, the French Republic. Encircling her are the 12 stars of Europe, representing France's place in the European Union. This beautiful motif signifies asterisk, France, which stays true to itself, whilst integrating into Europe, a poetic message struck into metal. Every French 10 centime coin from 1999 bears these hallmarks: the sower, the year, and the RF monogram. If you have a coin matching this description, you've identified the right piece, but identifying its design is only the beginning. The true key to this coin's extraordinary value lies in a subtle detail most people would never think to check. Among those 447 million French coins dated 1999, a tiny fraction hold a secret difference. It all comes down to the edge of the coin. Run your finger along the rim of a normal 10-cent coin and you'll feel grooves, indentations, around it. In mid-1998, as euro coin production ramped up, the original plan was for the 10-cent coin to have fine reading on its edge, in other words, many narrow grooves. France and several other countries began striking their new 10-cent pieces with these fine, closely spaced indentations. However, a last-minute change was in store. Responding to feedback from advocacy groups, including representatives for the visually impaired, the authorities decided that the 10-cent coins should be easier to distinguish by touch. Thus, the specification was changed in extremis at the last moment. The 10-cent coin would use wide, coarse reading instead of the initial fine grooves. This late decision came after production had already begun. Factories like the Pessac Mint in France had been busy churning out coins with the old fine-edge design. Suddenly, those freshly minted coins were deemed obsolete before they ever circulated. What happened next is the stuff of legend in coin collecting circles. To implement the change, the French Mint halted the presses and switched to the new coarse edge format, wider spaced ridges, for all further 10-cent coins, making those the second type of 10-cent coin, which eventually went into circulation in 2002. But what about the millions of fine-edge coins already produced? In an almost unbelievable twist, virtually all of the first-type coins were ordered to be destroyed. Workers gathered them up, defaced or deformed them, and sent them off to be melted as scrap metal. It was a mass eradication. The first version French 10-cent coin was never officially released, its existence almost wiped from history. Almost, but not entirely. According to accounts from numismatists, a few handfuls of those fine-reeded coins narrowly escaped the furnace. The lore goes that some coins were retrieved by enterprising individuals from the metal scrap destined for melting. Perhaps a few were squirreled away by mint employees or found their way into private hands by happenstance. However it happened, only a tiny number survived, making them incredibly rare trophies for collectors. These survivor coins are known in France as 10 centime 1 type, tranche fines, the 10-cent first type with fine grooves. How can you tell if you have one? Examine the edge. A regular French 10-cent, the common second type, has cannelures larges, meaning fewer, thicker grooves that you can see and feel clearly. The rare first type coin, in contrast, has cannelures fines, a finely milled edge with many more tiny ridges, similar in texture to a U.S. quarter's edge, for example, but even finer. Visually, the difference is subtle unless you know what to look for, but under magnification or to a sensitive touch, the fine-edge coin's rim texture is distinctively delicate. Importantly, everything else about the coin's design, the date 1999, the RF, the sewer image, looks the same as the normal version. That means the edge is the telltale sign. If you find a 1999 French 10 centime coin and it has an unusually finely grooved edge, you may be holding a unicorn. It must be noted that most of these escaped coins aren't in perfect shape. Since the mint tried to deform them before melting, many survivors have scratches, bends or other damage traces de déformation, as described in French. Fully intact, undamaged examples are exceedingly scarce, possibly only a few exist in pristine condition. But even the deformed pieces are numismatic gold. Their very existence is an accident, and collectors covet them for their story and rarity. In essence, what we have is a classic error coin scenario, though on a grand scale, a whole initial mintage meant for destruction, of which only a remnant remains. This is the secret that gives the 1999 French 10-cent coin its extraordinary value. Not the coin itself. Billions of 10-cent coins circulate freely, but whether it is one of those forbidden first edition pieces that was never meant to see the light of day. Once collectors got wind of this elusive fine-edged variety, the scramble was on. These coins started surfacing in trade around the early 2000s, often through specialist dealers and auctions in France. Although literally worth only 10 cents as currency, their collector value shot into the stratosphere compared to face value. Early sales showed strong demand. For example, in 2004 one of these rare 10-cent coins, with some deformities, but clearly of the fine edge type, went up for auction with an estimate of €400 and ended up selling for about €192. A couple of years later, in 2006, another specimen sold for €275 at auction. The price kept climbing as awareness grew. By 2013, a French auction recorded one of these coins fetching €330 hammer price, and notably, a determined bidder had been willing to pay up to €780 for it, underscoring how fierce the competition was even for less than mint condition pieces. The real watershed came when an intact, non-deformed example appeared on the market. Such a coin is the Holy Grail, a 1999 French 10-cent with fine reading, in beautiful condition, as if it had escaped the melting pot unscathed. In 2012-2013, one such coin was reportedly sold on a major online marketplace for an astounding €1,461, approximately $1,600. Remember, this is for a 10-cent piece of base metal, a markup of over 14,000 times its face value. That sale grabbed headlines in the coin collecting community and effectively set a new benchmark. Enthusiasts began valuing pristine specimens in the thousands of euros. In fact, Sellers subsequently listed similar coins for around €2,500 and even €3,750, over $4,000, as buy it now prices. While those higher asks did not immediately find buyers, the €3,750 offering went unsold. They signaled just how much hype and hope surrounds this little coin. Collectors were willing to pay the price of a used car for a tiny piece of pocket change, if it was the right piece. It's not just French collectors, either. The notoriety of the 1999 fine-edge French 10-cent has spread worldwide thanks to online coin forums, YouTube videos, and social media. International buyers have entered the fray, sometimes driving up auction prices even further. On eBay and other platforms, you'll now see listings advertising rare 10-cent euro coin France 1999 feet RF, often with hefty price tags attached. Some sellers, unfortunately, try to cash in by labeling any 1999 French 10-cent as rare and slapping on a $50 or $100 price, hoping to lure the uninformed. Be warned. The ordinary 1999 coin, with wide grooves on the edge, is not scarce at all. France minted nearly 450 million of those, and most are worth only a few cents above face value at best. Serious collectors will pay high dollars only for the genuine first-type fine-edge coins. And they usually want proof of that status, sometimes requesting clear photos of the coin's edge or certification from a coin grading service. Yes, people have even sent these coins for professional grading and encapsulation, treating them like high-value rarities, which, in the realm of euro coins, they truly are. Remarkable parallels. Interestingly, France wasn't the only country to experience this fine vs. coarse edge saga. Belgium, too, had minted its 1999 10-cent coins with fine reading before the changeover. Those Belgian pieces were similarly destroyed and only discovered years later. When a Belgian 1999 fine-edge 10-cent surfaced in 2018, experts estimated its value around €3,500, showing that the market for these early-era variety euros is red-hot across Europe. The French coin, however, is arguably the most famous case, perhaps because France's mintage was so large that the notion of what could have been captures the imagination. There could have been millions of these rare coins circulating, but instead there are just a precious few. Treasure hunt. Could you have one? The story of the 1999 French 10-cent coin has inspired countless people to check their change. After all, these coins did not enter general circulation in 1999, but who's to say a few didn't slip out somehow, or get mixed into later coin rolls? It's a long shot, but not impossible. If you're in Europe, especially France, and have a jar of old euro coins from the early 2000s, it might be worth inspecting the 10-cent pieces. Look for the date 1999 and then carefully feel or look at the edge. A magnifying glass can help. Fine reading will have roughly fine, tight grooves all around, whereas the normal coin has visibly wider spacing between ridges. If you think you've found one, handle it gently and consider getting an expert opinion. The difference can be hard to discern if you don't have a regular coin to compare side by side. But the payoff for finding the real deal could be tremendous. Collectors who do have one of these coins often treat it as the crown jewel of their collection. Some keep them in high-security safes or bank vaults, a curious fate for a coin that originally was worth just 10 euro cents. There are even anecdotes of people cashing in these coins to fund major life expenses. One lucky finder purportedly sold his and paid off a chunk of his mortgage. It's modern-day buried treasure, except the X on the map is a tiny mint mark on a coin's edge. Numismatists sometimes call discoveries like this lottery tickets, and indeed the 1999 French 10-cent is a lottery that paid out handsomely for those few who chanced upon it. For most of us, alas, the search will likely come up empty. These coins are that scarce. But even if you don't strike gold, the tale of this coin is a fascinating lesson in how history and rarity create value. A coin becomes valuable not because it's made of gold or silver. This one is actually made of Nordic gold, a brass alloy with zero gold content, but because of the story it carries. In this case, the story involves a design change, a bureaucratic twist, and a near-complete destruction of an entire mintage. It's the survivor coins, with their scars and scrapes from a narrow escape, that fuel the imagination and the frenzy. Collectors love nothing more than a good story, and this little 10-cent piece carries an epic narrative on its 19.75mm canvas. Given the auction results and private sales we've discussed, it's clear that a fine-edged 1999 French 10-cent coin can fetch anywhere from a few €100 to a few €1,000 today, depending on condition. A heavily deformed example might bring a few hundred, still an incredible markup from 10 cents, while an unblemished example could easily soar into the multiple thousands. The coin's value has consistently trended upward as more collectors learn about it and as existing owners hold on to their prized pieces. Supply and demand are in dramatic imbalance. Demand among collectors across Europe and beyond is high, but supply is essentially fixed to those few handfuls of survivors. Each time one sells, it sets a new price precedent. It wouldn't be surprising to see the next top-grade specimen break the €5,000 or €10,000 mark at auction if two wealthy collectors go head-to-head. In fact, some experts speculate that if an absolutely perfect, mint-condition piece, one of the legendary non-deforme coins with zero damage, were ever to appear, all bets would be off. It could command an astronomical price well into 5 figures of euros. But why stop at 5 figures? Let's dare to dream even bigger. The world of rare coins has seen some mind-boggling prices in recent years, coins selling for tens of millions of dollars at elite auctions. The 1933 Double Eagle, a rare U.S. gold coin, fetched nearly $19 million in 2021, for instance. Could our little 10-cent euro one day join those ranks? It might seem far-fetched, but who knows what the future holds. As more time passes, surviving specimens may dwindle or vanish into long-term collections, effectively off the market, driving prices higher. If a major auction house were to put a high-grade French 1999 10-cent up on the block with fanfare, we might witness a frenzy. The humble coin that started as a misfit could ascend to legendary status, valued not just in thousands, but potentially in millions. It would be the ultimate irony and triumph, a 10-cent coin becoming one of the most coveted collectibles on Earth. In conclusion, the 10-euro-cent France 1999 coin is a superstar born from circumstance, a coin that was never meant to circulate, yet escaped destruction to tantalize us with its rarity. It teaches us that sometimes the smallest change in a coin's design can lead to a colossal change in its value. So check your drawers, search your jars of coins, and keep your eyes peeled. Lightning can strike in the numismatic world, and fortunes have been made from finds just like this. Today it might be just another coin, jingling in a piggy bank, but tomorrow it could be headlining an auction and making someone's dreams come true. After all, every great treasure begins with a discovery. And who's to say that the next life-changing discovery won't be yours? The saga of the 1999 French 10-cent proves that even a tiny coin can hold unimaginable wealth, perhaps even a record-shattering $42 million one day, if luck and legend smile. So the next time you hear coins clinking in your pocket, remember, one of them just might be the life-changing treasure we've been talking about. Happy hunting, and may your spare change shine a little brighter.